Hey everybody, welcome to your daily report with Angry Tim. As promised, I wanted to talk a little bit about the E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber. It's all about how technicians become entrepreneurs and start a small business and why it fails. But before I get into that, here's data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Here are the failure rates of new businesses. In the first year of business, approximately 20% of new businesses fail. And in the first 5 years, about 49% of businesses fail. And in the first 10 years, about 65% of businesses fail. So it looks like within the first 5 years, about half of all businesses don't make it. Um, and to get to 10 years, 65% don't make it to 10 years. But the first year, I thought it would have been a little bit higher. Maybe, this is a little bit older and the failure rate is a little higher now, but it's showing about 20% of new businesses fail in the first year. This book, The E-Myth, and I got it wrong. I thought it came out in early 2000s. I looked it up. It came out in 1985. So when I read it, it had been out already for quite a while. I thought it was a new book I picked up, but apparently not. This has been around a long time. Um, and then, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, some of the main reasons that these businesses fail: lack of market need. Many businesses fail because there is no demand for their product or service. All right, yeah, that's kind of an obvious one, but you don't really know people want to buy your product right until you get it out there. So, yeah, lack of market need means no sales. Number two, they say poor business plan. Um, Without clear goals, strategies, and a roadmap, businesses can struggle to stay on track. And number three, insufficient capital. And I would say that's a big one now because with the cost of everything going up, labor, your rent, your insurance, the price of your goods, your inventory keeps going up. So if you don't have enough money to keep buying these things at a higher and higher price and paying for your insurance and paying your electric, um, you know, the rent, that's another big reason stores close because the lease was, when it came to renew the lease, the landlord maybe wanted an increase of 10% or whatever it was, and the store just couldn't make it. So they decided to close rather than renewing another 3 to 5 year lease. So that's definitely a big one there. Now, getting into Michael E. Gerber, basically what he talks about is most businesses are started and run by technicians. Now, technicians are people who actually do the job. For example, we talked about the pizza guy, the pizza chef. So that would be a technician, the guy who actually, makes the pizza. He's putting the ingredients on a pizza. He knows exactly what temperature and how long, you put that in the oven. So those would be considered technicians. So when the technician decides, I want to open up my own pizza restaurant, they don't have any experience or knowledge on how to run a business. They know how to make a good pizza, but they don't know how to run a business with employees and, managing inventory and cash flow. And that's where the problems begin. Just because you're good at making pizza doesn't necessarily make you a good pizza store owner. So there's a transitional phase where the technician needs to learn new skills on how to run a business and not necessarily just work in the business. So that's what it's all about. It's not about being the best pizza maker, although that is important. You also have to know how to run a pizza restaurant. You can always hire your pizza, maker employees, but you can't always hire someone to run the business. You can hire managers and things like that, but it's the entrepreneur that has to come up with all the systems in place and to make sure everything is profitable. I don't know if you're seeing that here. We got some donkeys in the background. Let me turn the camera a little better there for you. So that's what the E-Myth is all about. If I can position myself a little better here for you. I'm going to be over here kind of on the side. Sorry here. And so he has the three key positions in business. One is the entrepreneur, the visionary who sees the future opportunities. Number two is the manager, the planner and organizer who turns vision into action. And then you have the technician, the doer who focuses on the work itself. So his main thing is working on, not in your business. Business owners should focus on developing systems that allow their business to run smoothly without their constant involvement. So that's kind of the franchise model, right? Where you develop like a McDonald's, you create the perfect system on how, exactly to make a hamburger. You squirt exactly the same amount of ketchup, mustard on each hamburger patty. You put the pickles, I think it was like two pickles, right in the center of the patty so they don't slide out while you eat it. Everything is exactly how it should be. Onions, the way you wrap the hamburger, how you place the buns, how you pack your hamburgers and French fries into the paper bag. Everything is exactly measured, and a system is created. Whether or not your employees are following that system is a whole another problem. But it's all about the system. So once you create the system, you're gonna have something that can be duplicated in other restaurants, and they should all have exactly, it doesn't matter which McDonald's you go to, and also in which country you go to McDonald's, every hamburger or Big Mac should look and taste the same if they're all following the system. And even if you don't have a franchise, you should run even a small business in the same way, where you create a system exactly how your pizza's made. If it's a small pizza, medium or large, it's exactly the same. How many toppings are on there, how it's baked, how it's cooked, how it's looked. Not that it's inconsistent. You don't, sometimes you go to a pizza restaurant and they have the best pizza ever. You'll go back again later. You tell your friends, "Oh, we got to try this new place out. Their pizza's great," and it comes back. It's like, why is the crust is kind of burnt this time? There aren't as many toppings, and I swear the pizza was a lot bigger. Those are things that turn away customers when it's inconsistent. Customers want the same experience over and over again, and they want to know, they have expectations. So, that's the worst thing you can do is give a customer a good experience, and then when they come back again, you give them something completely different where it's a bad experience. The food got smaller, or there's less, the toppings got less, or the crust is now burnt where last time it was just perfect, and it was crispy and chewy, and everything was great. So um, that's really important in business. There's a lot more to this. I don't want to get too involved in all of the EMIT things, but the main thing is here. There's a change from being a technician, which is a person who actually does all the work, and when you become a business owner, where you're not necessarily doing all the work now. Now you're hiring people to do the work. Again, auto mechanic, same. Just because you can repair a car and you're really good at it, and maybe you're ASE certified and you work at an auto shop, for you to go from the employee repairing the cars to owning your own auto shop with people working under you, it's a whole different mindset. And a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, just because I know how to repair cars, I can run my own business. Um, Not necessarily. They don't, yes, you know all about the auto industry, but you don't know about running a business, cash flow, payroll, employees, insurance, taxes, marketing. There's a whole bunch of other things an owner has to do that the employee never even has to think about, where their head is in the engine, you know, and they're just working on cars all day. They don't worry about all these other little things that an owner has to make sure the parts are here, make sure the lights are on, make sure insurance is paid, make sure, all these other things are being done, not just that car is getting fixed. Um, I'll get more into this in a later video, but just a quick recap on that. That was Michael E. Gerber, The E-Myth. And if you've read the book, let me know what you thought of it. If you have a small business, are you implementing some of these ideas to create systems and create, the same experience for your customers every time they come to your store or restaurant or whatever product you're selling? And how is that working out for you? Or do you work somewhere where everything is inconsistent all the time? Maybe your boss doesn't have systems in place. So everything is just inconsistent. It's always crazy, different experience. Um, Maybe that's affecting your business or where you work, but this is just I try and follow this as best I can. I don't own a franchise or anything like that, but I try and create systems so everyone knows they know their what they're supposed to be doing and how to do it, and there's kind of a guidebook to follow. So all things that need to be done gets done by the end of the day, so there are no big surprises. And it's always changing. There's always something new. You got to redo this, redo that because it didn't quite work out well. And employees always have to be reminded of what they need to do because they're not always, they have a mind of their own. So that's all for today. We'll get more into this later. There's a whole bunch of other things to get into, really interesting stuff. But that's your update today from your friend, Angry Tip.